Good afternoon, good morning, and good evening to all the people who are watching us live on LinkedIn. Welcome to this session. Well, tomorrow is 8th of March. It's Women's International Day. And on this occasion, M2C is organizing a virtual job fair exclusively for our women military veterans. Well, it is the second edition of this job fair, and we call it Hire Woman Warrior, hashtag HWW. Prelude to this, we are having this panel discussion. I'm really excited for this panel discussion. And for today's panel discussion, we have called women leaders from one of the leading brands of the world, Hindustan Unilever Private Limited. Well, out of these two guests whom we have invited today, we have women military veterans as well. Unilever is gold sponsor for our event tomorrow. That's hashtag HWW. And today we are going to talk about how Unilever is promoting D&I in their organization and is supporting our military veterans by creating a suitable employment for them. Well, before I introduce the panel to you, let me quickly introduce myself. My name is Rumple Khanka, and I'm a career transition coach. I have about 20 plus years of work experience. Out of that, 8 years I was with the Indian Army. So I wore the olive green in 1998. In 2006, I took a conscious decision to hang my uniform. 2007, Bank of America, I joined Bank of America in their HR vertical. Was with the bank for almost about 11 plus years. And now I'm a career transition coach, coaching and mentoring military veterans for a smooth and a successful career transition is something which is very dear to me. It's close to my heart, and it's my passion as well. Well, that's me in your capsule. So let me quickly introduce the panelists to you. I'm excited for this discussion. So the first one we have the guest is squadron leader Anusha Raghav. And the second guest we have is Major Priyanka Sinha. And then we have Ruhi Gupta. Hi, Priyanka. Hi, Ruhi.
Hi. Hello. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Hi, Anusha.
Oh, good morning, everyone.
Oh, I'm excited. All wonderful ladies. So I think let's start going, ladies, with the discussion. So let's start with you, Anusha. Anusha, can you quickly introduce yourself and also talk about your transition journey, because from Indian Air Force to Unilever?
Okay. Thank you, Rimple. And hello to everyone who has joined us today. And first of all, thank you for having me here. I am squadron leader Anusha Raghav, and to tell you more about myself, I'll take you back while I was still in 11th standard, and I saw a full page advertisement in Times of India, page 3, wherein the fighter jets were parked on the tarmac and the pilots were, walking away from the aircraft holding their helmets. And there was a line written below that. It says, do you have it in you? And I saw that advertisement and I smiled at that and I said to myself that, yes, I do have it in me. And that was the day I decided that I am going to join the Indian Air Force and wear that blue uniform. My parents have been very supportive of me when I told them this, that I want to join the armed forces. And, I don't have a background or, not as a woman also, nobody from my family has ever joined armed forces. So I was the first one. And I was so excited of joining the armed forces that I thought maybe I can join after 12th immediately. But unfortunately, NDA was not the option at that point of time, unlike now. So I decided that I'll finish my engineering. And after finishing my engineering, I got the campus recruitment at certain company. But I had also applied for Air Force. I cleared my written exam I got the call for SSB. I went for SSB. I cleared the PABT, and for all those who don't know what PABT is, it is Pilot Aptitude Battery Test, because I had applied for the flying branch in the Air Force, and it is a necessary exam to clear. So I cleared my SSB in the very first attempt. Further, I went to the medicals. I cleared every test, but to my horror, I was 2 centimeters short of the Air Force standard for clearing the pilot test. So I got rejected because of the medical. But nevertheless, I had my engineering degree with me in my hand. So I decided to join in a technical branch. And therefore, I joined Air Force as a AEM, aeronautical engineer. So although I specialize in HS-748 Avro transport aircraft and worked as an engineering officer of the transport SCON, I have also been an instructor at an premier institute of Air Force for the newly recruited officers in the tech branch. I was awarded the commendation by Air Officer Commanding-in-Chief Training Command for the work I performed in organizing one of the biggest international aero show, that is Aero India 2017. And I was also awarded Women Achiever Award in Defense Sector by the then CM of Karnataka. So I've spent I joined Armed Forces in 2010 and had my uniform in 2020. And my last posting was at an active place where I was very fortunate to be a part of Balakot operation. And that experience itself was just amazing. And maybe that's a story for another day. But I hang my uniform post that. And thereafter, the next phase of my life has started. And now here I am, joined HUL, wearing the uniform, still wearing blue, but without stripe, and wearing U along with it.
Yeah, I like that. I like that, from one blue to the another blue. Amazing to hear your story and the way you have achieved for yourself. Well, let's go to we have Priyanka. Priyanka, how about introducing yourself to the audience, and let's talk a little bit about your journey.
Yeah, sure. So good morning, everyone. I'm Priyanka Sinha. I've served Indian Army as Short Service Commissioned Officer in the Corps of Electronics and Mechanical Engineers. I've worked at the root level of EME Battalion and have handled the appointments of Artillery Workshop Officer and Officer in Charge Planning and Inspection in Battalion Headquarters. I've also been awarded Sainya Seva Medal for my distinctive services in Ulfa-inflicted region. In my tenure in the Army, I have implemented a couple of ideas and innovations, and for which I was also been given the commendation card by GOC in C. As far as my education goes, I am a BTech graduate and have done residential management course from IIM Indore. I am now working as engineering manager and am the first women veteran to join HUL. Before this, I've worked with a couple of companies like Escorts, Sunbeam, and Steel Strips. After hanging my uniform, I had almost no knowledge and guidance about the corporate culture, but was really passionate to continue in technical field, being from EME. So the first technical position which came my way, I joined it. It was altogether a very different culture to adapt, but the only thing I had in my hand was determination to succeed. In corporate culture, there is no one to take the orders. Rather, it is you who have to be receptive and learning. As the work is new, everyone there is so good in their own areas. Rather, you had to learn from scratch and you have to come in sync with them. So you have to be a team player, because that's how you will be able to learn and grow more. I started my transition journey like this, and that is the reason I could develop so many skills on the way. And for that, I'm very grateful to my first company, that is Escorts, and its people for making my base grooming. As you know, we, the defense officers, are very versatile, self-motivated, and adaptive, and are capable of doing anything that lands in our hands. And these traits actually helped me a lot in my transition journey. Thank you.
Thanks, Priyanka. Great to hear that, and how we have been game changers in military. Like as we all know that now, the National Defense Academy is opened for the women
Yeah.
entry. So we have been game changer for the organization, and now I see you also, changing the game in the manufacturing world as well. Fantastic. Well, Rohi, coming on to you, you are a very senior leader out there. Why don't you introduce yourself and talk about yourself?
Thank you, Rimple, and to all the ladies here, thank you for your service. I can't really thank you all enough. And the great thing and the thing that inspires me a lot is that you had a vision of starting your second journey, and you've made it. And it's a lovely and a proud feeling to see you all there. And as I keep saying that. We help each other to support each other to find the right opportunities and to make sure that the underrepresented groups in corporates get those opportunities to excel and carve out a successful story. So that's what I do. I come from a very humble background. I come from Punjab, which is the north of India, and I'm sure most of you would have got posting there because it is a largely heavily military area as well. I was born in Pathankot again, which is very close to the border, and then my parents relocated to Chandigarh. And over the period of time, I realized that I'm the first daughter who sort of got out of the small town and started studying and now got into corporate as well. Uh, Most of my siblings are younger to me, so they, of course, I have a heavy load of being the leader there as well, and I think my purpose sort of stems from there to kind of raise the voice for gender. And throughout my career, I have made smaller steps and inroads in this direction. And over a period of time, of course, my purpose sort of took a broader view, which was beyond gender in corporate. And clearly, I'm very happy to see that some of those things are coming alive. And it gives me immense happiness to see that we are not just looking at women in corporate, but also in the army, in the air force, and other forces. Uh, we, I think the other passion which is very close to my heart is, of course, connected to other underrepresented communities like LGBTQI and persons with disabilities. So that's something that I will be working on in the next couple of years. But really, really happy to be part of this forum. I may not have served the country the way you all have, but yeah, in my way, I will continue to sort of be on that journey. So thank you.
Thanks, Rui. I think in our way we are serving our country, serving our people is serving our country, and I can actually see, even if it's virtually, I can feel your passion. I can see how you're passionate about this whole thing of diversity. Well, ladies, what I'll do is I have a couple of questions, so I thought I'll ask you those questions, and let's see. Let's start with you, Anusha. Anusha, we haven't seen many women military veterans going to the sector of manufacturing. So tell us more about what do you do there and how did you get this opportunity?
Rimple, this opportunity came as such a beautiful surprise. I cannot fathom still that how it came to me. But so I'll tell you how. So immediately after engineering, I had joined the armed forces. So I didn't have a clue about the private sector. I had no exposure of that. What I'm going to do, how I'm going to do, what role am I going to take, and what kind of job that I'm going to take, what I wanted to do. I did not know that. I had no clarity at that point of time. So, just like many other during the campus recruitment, I also applied for, various jobs, whatever the job were coming and whatever the roles that were coming forth. And I got recruited in one of the company, which is also a reputed one. But after joining and working there for a while, I found that about myself, that I wasn't really happy doing that kind of job. It was more of a kind of a corporate role, wherein you go to office, you get all decked up, and go to office and sit in front of the laptop, do the make some work, work on the ROI and everything, and then come back. But that is not me. That was not me. I came to know about that. I am more of a kind of a dynamic person who likes challenges. But somewhere I was missing all that in that particular role. So that point of time I decided that maybe I need to move on and need to find something for myself, what I really like doing. And then one fine day I got a DM on my LinkedIn account from one of the talent acquisition of Unilever, and she wrote to me that she saw my profile and she really liked it, and if I would be willing to join Unilever. And it was kind of a really surprise. This is like very thrilling. I couldn't expect. I was not expecting something like that. And I told her that yes, I would love to join, but I would like to know more about the role, because now I knew that what I wanted in my life and what I did not want in my life. Right. So I was, before taking on the role, I wanted to, inquire more about it. So then my interview happened and I was offered the role of project and a, factory manufacturing manager, that is kind of operations. And I also spoke to various people in Unilever who were already working to understand more about those roles. And since I knew what I wanted, I asked for the project role, for which I was told that it was a challenging work and very challenging environment. But this time I was very certain that this is the kind of job that resonates with me. That's who I am. And I like to see unseen challenges, and I wanted to execute a project which is like as good as giving birth to a child, and the journey starts from child planning itself, and then it further proceeds to preparation, execution, and delivery. And that is the reason I decided. So I gave my willingness to join as a project manager in the project role. And now I am here at a place which is unfamiliar, unheard of. But, believe me when I say that I finally got what I really wanted. And I am, really enjoying this kind of work. So that is how I decided on joining Unilever.
Great, Anusha. And I resonate so much with you because, M2C is we have launched a program called Career Transition Program, and I facilitate that. And the first thing which I tell everybody is find your passion. Otherwise, it is going to be, thank God it's Friday, Monday blues are going to be part of the whole journey there. And that's so important. And I think that message is so very clear from your experience, that first find out where your passion lies and then go for it. And second thing which you talked about is so good, is that finding about the role by speaking to people who are already there. That's so important. And fantastic. So let's go to Priyanka. I have a question for you. You are seasoned in the corporate, you have seen the military life. So tell me, what is if you have to give some advice to our women military veterans out there, especially for joining this manufacturing sector? What advice? How do they prepare for it? What advice would you give?
Yeah, well, the way you mentioned, Rimple, that I'm seasoned in manufacturing. Yes, it's been a coincidence, or it's fortunate that I've worked after leaving army. I've worked in a couple of manufacturing industries only. Again, I would like to resonate with Anusha, because the passion is important. So I also when I left army, I also got a lot of options, in admin, security, and technical. Though the technical roles were on a little lower in the perk side, but it is really, really important, the word passion you mentioned, and that was the only drive for me to join my first technical job with Escorts. So the first thing, so really you need to have, first of all, that is important. You need to have that passion. You need to know and realize what you actually want. You need to have that understanding. And after that, I would, and if you really think that, yes, manufacturing, because again, I opted for admin role. I inquired about that role, but somehow I was not very much inclined toward the job responsibilities that and simultaneously I checked with Escorts. So that only made me to decide key whatever it may be, I would like to continue with my technical field. And that was the passion, So I just want to say that manufacturing is a fun industry to be in. There are so many opportunities here. Please don't get discouraged, by the appearance of it being the male dominated industry. For example, like within a short span of time in HUL of mine, I've seen so many women who possess greater level of technical knowledge in manufacturing. Their concepts are so much crystal clear with respect to their male counterparts. You feel, you will be they're so awesome. Like I was like so surprised to see them. So I have seen so many other women leaders also who are excelling in their own space. So why can't we? But provided we should have the passion for it. So just I would just like to say that just be more open to learning, be a team player, and more importantly, equip yourselves with a good amount of industry knowledge, thereby making yourself strong. वो कहते हैं ना कि you get that confidence. You get that confidence once you have the right amount of knowledge about that particular area or the field. Then it really becomes easy to get accepted by the crowd. So you should be accessible as a resource. Learn as much as you can. Never stop learning. And one thing I've learned in HUL from my line manager, that always do deep dive of every process system on which you are working. It will give you confidence, and it will, you will feel more confident while performing your activities and while dealing with your peers at workplace. So don't be afraid to ask any questions. No question is a wrong question.
Yeah.
And one more important point I would like to share here is that lean on the people who are doing the work on ground themselves. Like for example, in army, there are sepoys, lance naiks, havaldars who are carrying out all the repairs and maintenance activities on workshop floor with their own hands. So similarly, here in the factories, there are operators who operate the machines. There are fitters who do the repairs. So spend more time with them. Actually, they are the experts. And moreover, they would be really happy to tell you. Lastly, but not the least, that I would like to say that believe in your abilities, follow your passion. You're just as qualified, as smart and talented as any other person in this role could be.
Wow.
Thank you.
Thanks, Priyanka, for the encouraging words. And I'm sure a lot of women out there now are thinking, why not this industry? Well, Ruhi, coming to you, I think we all acknowledge the criticality of diversity, especially in the leadership, positions. So, how is Unilever as an organization driving diversity hiring?
Sure. I think that's a topic that I could talk for hours, but I will try to give away some of our best practices that are really working well, and we've invested in them in last couple of years. So let me tell you that this particular effort on D&I is not going to give you results overnight, right? It's a journey that you have to embark on with really long-term goals, and then you make these short-term achievable goals to sort of meet the long-term goal, right? So that has a series of steps in between. I think the most important one for Unilever has been to give that commitment externally, that what it means for us and where we want to be at, right? So you would see that our commitments on gender, on diversity and inclusion are out there. You can read it on our career. So that's very important. When you just start your career, people think that goals and giving targets is something that it's not right. It doesn't work like that. But we all know, being in the industry, that how important targets are, how important that goal is, so that everybody is on the same page and everybody works towards it with the same passion and purpose, right? So what we've done in Unilever, apart from having the goal, we have accelerated our representation at all levels of leadership. We wanted to make sure that it's not just at the junior levels, but also at the senior levels where we could bring in DNI sort of talent, so that they are the ones who become our advocates in the future. And this has worked well. Today our 50% of our managerial talent is women. So we would want to continue with that. We've also started our journey on hiring more diverse talent at the junior levels, especially in sales and supply chain, because that's where we get to break barriers, saying that no, it's not just the men, it's women as well who carry or rather are more competitive and competent to do these roles. So that's how we are basically we've accelerated, and we will continue to drive this agenda, not just with our internal stakeholders, but also with our external stakeholders. As an organization, we've actually committed that we will work with our supplier operations, we will work with our supply chain vendors to make sure that whatever was working well for us, we pass that on to them. We make sure that we are sharing those best practices with them. It is also critical uh, to identify opportunities you know where we will be able to bring on gender or the diverse talent. There has to be some method to this framework, right? It can't be that, hey, we are open and we just sort of go. There has to be some science involved there. So what we did in the last 2 years were we basically identified roles in supply chain, in sales, and also in IT, along with finance, where we thought that we could really work together with the business to identify this diverse set of people. And that's worked. Like two of the ladies that you really see here are something that we really worked hard together with the business to make sure that we bring them on board. And we will continue to work on this framework and plan in the years to come. The last one is, of course, we all know there are biases, right? And you cannot really remove all the biases possible, because there are like infinite number of biases that we all work with. uh, but what we've done is we've started to use technology to remove those biases. So we use AI. We use AI screening and sourcing tool to make sure that if I'm the hiring manager or if I'm the interviewer, I don't get to see a lot of things that will creep up those biases and make me make a decision that, hey, I don't think this profile really will work with me, right? So we're using technology to reduce some of these barriers and biases, and we will continue to learn in this space in the coming years. We're also working with specialized partners like Military to Cop to sort of connect us with the world or with the groups that we haven't even explored. And that's where one of our success stories has come from. That we identified this group, and we figured and identified which is the partner that is really passionate about the work that they've been doing in the military and veteran side. And that's what we continue to do. So we're also working with persons with disability and LGBTQI partners to see how we can really move forward. And the last one is we want to use our strength of our brands. We often perhaps should not undermine the brands that we have in HUL. So what we are doing with them is we are kind of making our advertisements more inclusive. We're making sure that the people playing those advertisements are diverse, and we are also reaching out to people through our social media campaigns, with the messages, with key messages and success stories, so that the talent knows that, hey, this is a place where they can really thrive and have a point of view and kind of excel in their career. So those are some of the things that we are doing, Rimple. And as I said, I can go on and on, but these are some of the
But thank
practice.
you. Yeah. Thanks, Ruhi. I think really great things the company is doing. And I would say that if companies like HUL come forward and support the community, I think it is going to be an example for other companies also to follow. Like you said, a structured way it has to be approached at. Fantastic, great points. Anusha, I have a question for you, if I may ask you, is you are coming from a military, you went to the corporate and that too into manufacturing, and we understand that there would have been some challenges. So tell me how Unilever as an organization has supported you during your initial days.
Okay. Rimple, as I mentioned earlier, HUL didn't just offer me this job, but before I confirmed my joining over here, uh, the HUL took an extra mile to set up calls with various employees of HUL, those who are working on those roles, to help me explain more about the job, the environment that I would be expecting to work in, the challenges that would be involved. And I made numerous such calls before I was certain of the role that I wanted, and before I gave my willingness to join. And then I came to Sumerpur. Here I am at Sumerpur, by the way, which is not at Rajasthan. It is at Uttar Pradesh, for everybody's understanding. I joined here at Sumerpur, wherein South Asia's one of the biggest project of HUL is getting delivered. The project budgets around 350 CR and it is spread around 75 acre. It is a project under the home care category of business, which is going to be producing the product, which is must be available. I'm very certain at each and every person's household, Daag Achhe Hain, which is known as Surf Excel. And since the time I came here, I wasn't expected to just, jump the guns and take up the decision and start working on the project immediately. I went through a proper learning journey, which, by the way, is still continuing, although now I am also working on this project. I was assigned a buddy who was someone to, turn up to for any query for the first few weeks. And I was also assigned a mentor who was, guiding me in getting to understand me about the know-how of the Unilever engineering way of working, the project management, and the, current project that is undergoing. So all the nitty-gritties of that project, how the design works, how the execution work, what are the team consisting of, how the procurement works, everything. So now I have undergone proper laid out stint program for the Women in STEM program. Now, wherein I have met various stakeholders and employees who have individually spent time in explaining and familiarizing me about their role in the business point of view, how they are contributing towards a business requirement. And the orientation has been exhaustive and covered all the verticals of supply chain, which include from the source, which consists of your raw material management, asset management. Then it comes to make, wherein your factory comes into picture, your UE, that is Unilever engineering, which I am working under, that is the engineering part, that comes under. Then the suits also, I got to know about the suits. Suits is basically innovation in technology, R&D, quality, safety, manufacturing excellence. Then it came to the stint of planning, which consists of supply chain planning, your demand planning, your customer planning, and then the front end business aspect of the business was also explained, and which consists of your demand planning, that is logistic, distribution, warehousing. And so right from what they do, their business strategy, their KPIs, the latest project they're working on, the process chain that they were following, their stakeholders, the challenges, their daily workday life, everything was covered. And for this, it was not just a virtual platform that was planned, but for this, I had also visited the various factories, and I visited the branch office for understanding the make and the front end side of the business. and inclusive of, I visited the retailers of HUL who were involved with them, and the market stint was also carried out, the distribution chain, how that worked, distribution center, I have visited that also. So for better appreciation of what I'm doing here over here in this project, I have paid a multiple visit in the existing factory of home care category also, to have an idea of what am I expecting, what am I going to be delivering, what is going to be the productivity, how is it going to look like, not exactly the same, but yes, somewhere the design, what the design is talking about. So in every aspect, I will say the HUL has provided all sort of support that was possible. So I will just say that just like Hogwarts, in HUL also you will get and find the support everywhere. You just have to ask.
Super, super. I think amazing to hear that, Anusha. I think the way you are exposed to all the verticals, all the domains, and I can see that they're setting you for success. That's the whole idea. Fantastic to know that. Priyanka, I have a question for you. Now, we in the military, we have certain skills which can be transferred. So tell me, in your career, when you transition, how did the military experience help you to be successful in the corporate world?
Yeah. So being from EME, I'm sure many of you must be aware of the job responsibilities that are there in this core. So we actually the EME officers or the EME people look after the maintenance of all the equipments to make them fit for war. So the EME people usually work in the unit workshops, base workshops, and that's how we EME people gather a lot of on-ground knowledge with respect to the repairs, maintenance. So there, the job is more of a kind of mechanical and electronics in nature, right? So here in HUL, I've been placed in Unilever Engineering Division, wherein you get to perform, like the way Anusha told in so much of detail, that you get to perform the responsibilities of either factory engineer or project engineer. So we have to keep the factory machinery running all the time if you are performing a factory engineer role, and if you're performing project engineer, that you have to look after the implementation of all the live projects that are going on in the factory premises, their on time completion with safety per se, because Unilever takes care of its employees, the contractors, their safety a lot. That's what I've seen. I mean, HUL is very much concerned for every person that is entering the factory, whether it is employee or the contractor, or anyone. So these jobs are almost similar in nature, because they are including repairs, maintenance, upkeep of machinery, annual maintenance contracts, ABC checks, or ensuring the spares availability, the way we say, like the stock or the inventory, procurement, vendor development, idea innovations, audits. So every time, like here, I've seen, like working in at the Hosur factory, I've seen a lot of idea innovations keep on going on. We encourage the HUL encourage the employees to come up with the new idea innovation, and then a budget is particularly allotted for implementing those idea innovations. So almost these are all the activities which we have already done in our defense tenures, right? So moreover, the way Anusha mentioned, that HUL gives you a vast induction initially, wherein you get a chance to adapt to their working culture, and that was a very beautiful phase for me as well. And a lot of support from the management. The way, like, you need to ask for, and you will get the all kind of support and help you ask for. You want to learn something, you want to know something, they'll arrange 5 areas where you can grasp the knowledge for that particular field. So in that sense also, I would really want to appreciate about my company, that they are actually helping the new people getting adapted into their culture so beautifully. And also you get the so you get adapted to their working culture, and also you get the awareness about their new areas during this induction program.
Fantastic.
And I don't think anybody will feel any kind of difficulty in this journey. Lastly, I want to say that we the defense officer, what are our strengths? Hard work, honesty, integrity, and our determinations with which we do our tasks. So all these traits can make us successful anywhere and everywhere. Just trust your abilities and you will be a performer, not immediately, but definitely in a due course of time. Trust me, you are at the right place. At least that's what my experience is with the HUL. Thank you.
Thanks, Priyanka. I think we have a minute or two, so my last question is with Ruhi. Ruhi, if you can take about a minute or two and talk about what are some of the strategy or goals your company is thinking about to make the environment more inclusive, especially for the diverse talent or military talent.
Great. I'll try to be very, very precise. So as I said, our commitments are very much public, and that's one of the reasons that, hey, if you have a goal, why not share it with everyone? So clearly, we want to see a society where everyone is equal, and for that, we have to start with our workplace first, right? Where everybody is recognized with respect and with equal and fair treatment. So stemming from that, we continuously work on making our policies inclusive. And this is not something that, again, we've sort of done it in a month. This is like many years work in progress. I joined Unilever 2 years back, and I've seen the kind of work that we've done, not just from someone who has just joined, but also from the people on the people who have been with us, or the ones that we are expecting in the future. So we kind of always try to be very, very proactive, stay over the tide in terms of making our policies inclusive. When I started talking about diversity, we do a lot of work externally, but we also do a lot of work internally. How basically working with hiring managers to sensitize, to make sure that they know how to have a dialogue, how to really make everybody feel comfortable, and at the same time encourage everyone to come up with their point of view and questions. So there's a lot of work that we do internally to improvise and work with our culture. And the last one is, of course, making our infrastructure accessible. Thanks to COVID, of course, we've moved on our hybrid ways of working. So that also provides some sort of flexibility for women who are, taking care of their families, or are single mothers, to balance their life, with work, and are equally passionate about family and career. So I would say it's a holistic approach again, but definitely, I think we are the pioneers in many of these, and we continue to learn from our competitors as well, and would love to share more in our future sessions on this topic.
Thank you so much, Rohit. I think we are up the hour now. I would really like to thank all of you. I think great it was. I could have continued more, it was just constraint of time. It was such an interesting discussion we were having. So thank you so much. Thanks, Priyanka. Thanks, Anusha. And thanks, Ruhi, for joining us today. And thank you all the people who have joined us live today on LinkedIn. Well, tomorrow is Women's Day, so I want to wish in advance to all the women out there, happy Women's Day, right? I think it's Women Power, we rock anywhere we go. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining us, and thanks Unilever for supporting us for this cause. And for now, bye, and take care of yourself and your family, everyone. Bye-bye for now.
Bye.
All right. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Take care.
Happy Women's Day, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.